A very good morning to you viewers, and you're tuned into the recap with Dara right here on Idea TV, your weekly rundown where we gist you through the biggest stories shaping Africa's pulse, from innovation to entertainment, sports, justice, and even politics. So there is a lot happening this week across the continent, and honestly, you don't want to miss it. You would want to hear every bit of it. So trust us to bring you the tea right after this break. We'll be right back. Alright, now let's get straight into it, and we'll be starting with a story that is all about celebrating African brilliance and impact. Now, this is one for the books, because Idea TV Persons of Interest edition has rolled out, and it is giving well-deserved flowers to Africans shaping the continent's future across the world through science, health, and innovation. Now, the recognition celebrates those whose work has gone beyond borders, impacting education, policy, and even research in truly remarkable ways. And among the honorees are Nigerians renowned physicists and educators in person of Professor Pius N. Okeke and Francisca N. Okeke of the University of Nsukka, Nigeria. For decades, their physics textbooks have been a classroom staple across Africa, turning complex concepts into relatable lessons. And as for Pius Okeke, who is fondly known as the father of astronomy in Nigeria, has helped lay the foundation for the nation's space research program, while his wife, Francisca Okeke, earned global recognition with asteroid 149831, which was named after her. How iconic does that sound to you? Well, also celebrated as South Africa's powerhouse couple, Professor Salim S. Abdul Karim and Kwarasha Abdul Karim, who are co-founders of the Center for AIDS Program of Research in South Africa. And now their groundbreaking work in HIV prevention and treatment has transformed healthcare across the continent. Completing this year's stellar lineup is Professor Malik Maza, a physicist and nanotechnology pioneer whose advocacy for science development continues to push Africa's innovation boundaries. Now, permit me to tell you that Idea TV isn't just honoring excellence, it is spotlighting a generation of Africans, proving that the continent's biggest and brightest minds are shaping global science, and it is one discovery at a time. And now we'll be moving on to our next story, and it is about one of the biggest Afrobeat stars, Davido, who is bringing the sound home big time. The Fly for Life City Tour will hit Akwa Ibom. Not just there, it will hit Adamawa, Enugu, Ibadan, and even Lagos, marking one of the first times a member of the Afrobeat victory is touring Nigeria in full scale. Not just as a stopover, he's teamed up with GAC Motors via the CIG group, fusing rhythm and roots, and also music and machines. Now, the GN8s and GS8s and even the EV Aeon will be part of the ride, symbolizing cultural ambition and evolving pulse of modern Africa. The CIG group says the move is more than just cars. It is about mobility, purpose, and creativity. And as for Davido, it is a homecoming, a celebration of local fans, cities, and homegrown talent. And if you ask me what my take is on this, I'll say this isn't just a concert. It is a cultural moment when global level artists deepen their roots in local cities, and then you begin to see brands growing, and then you begin to see real change. Now, for young Nigerians watching this, this says you don't have to go abroad to make it big. You can start from where you're from. You can start shining from where you are. And now in sports, I bring to you an exciting story about Super Falcons shortstopper CHIAMAKA NNADOZIE, who has officially been shortlisted for the converted IFFHS World Best Goalkeeper Award. And this time, she's not just competing for herself, but for every young African girl who dreams with gloves on. NNADOZIE has earned this nod after a season filled with high stakes and even higher saves. Between her club performances in Europe and her heroics for Nigerian in international tournaments, she's been consistent. Her resilience and moments of pure brilliance. So to be shortlisted for IFFHS recognition means she's among the world best. And as a Nigerian, also as a woman, that is a double win. And also it is a proof that African talent can stand shoulder to shoulder with global stars. And if she wins, it is more than just a trophy, I mean. It is a statement that a girl from Nigeria can stand in a goal pose and then command respect, applause and history. But now our next story isn't just about news. It is a reminder that justice delayed can still be justice demanded. 7 years ago, the tragic death of a 13-year-old Ochanya Ogbanje, the young girl from Benue who died from complications of years of sexual abuse, and Nigerians are once again raising their voices demanding for justice. Back in 2018, Ochanya's story shocked the nation. A bright junior secondary school student of FGGC Boko, whose only dream was education, ended living with her relatives and only to suffer unthinkable abuse from both a father and son. Now she later died from complications that the doctors linked to the prolonged trauma. Now, here is where the story really gets twisted. Her guardian, Felicia Ochiga Ogbuja, was sentenced to just 5 months in jail for negligence, while her husband, one of the accused, was acquitted. And then the second suspect, their son, Victor Ogbuja, he's still on the run, and reports has it that he's still living freely in Lagos, chasing a music career. As for the years past, people moved on until this October, the anniversary of Ochanya's death, when Nigerians reignited her story online. And social media has exploded with justice for Ochanya once again. As other child rights activists and everyday Nigerians demanded the authorities reopen the case and bring their son, Victor, to justice. Now, beyond the outrage, beyond the lies, the bigger question here is, how many Ochanyas have gone unheard, and how many girl stories have never made the headlines? Because the truth is, until justice becomes the norm and not just exception, these tragedies will keep playing. And for Ochanya, even in death, the fight continues. A fight not just for her, but for every child who deserves to live, for every child who deserves to learn and grow without fear. Also, ending on a sad note now, it's been a tense week across Africa's political landscape, from Dar es Salaam to Douala. The streets are echoing the same message. People are tired of being silenced. And then in Tanzania, election day descended into chaos. What began as a democratic exercise quickly turned violent. Police chasing protesters, hospitals filling up, and the government declaring a curfew in Dar es Salaam. And now the opposition, crippled with key figured jailed, and then campaigns restricted, even the internet cut off in what rights groups call a digital blackout. Now jump to what happened in Cameroon during the week, because the scene feels very familiar after 92-year-old Paul Biya was declared winner again, extending more than his 4 decades in power. Protests exploded in Cameroon this same week. There was tear gas, there was gunfire, there was arrest, and yes, another internet blackouts. The opposition cried foul, then calling the result fraudulent, while security forces clapped down hard on dissent. Now, in both countries, the pattern is clear because it seems like election without freedom. You know that situation whereby citizens go to the poll hoping for change but end up facing curfews, they end up facing crackdowns and censorship. It is a cycle that keeps replaying and repeating across the continent, where democracy often stops as the ballot box. Well, that is the rundown for this week's recap on Idea TV, from scientists rewriting Africa's story to athletes, then artists, everyday citizens pushing for justice.